Hey guys, welcome back to Umineko. The world of 12 years later, October 1998. Uh, I'm hoping all the stuff that we did in like the other chapters of this game or episodes or whatever is happening while we're doing all this, so we ain't gotta do this and then go through all the murders again. Hope we don't gotta redo all that even after this. I don't know. Either way, let's go ahead and start. Yes, I won't ever forget that it happened in April of 1987. I received a certain strange request from a friend. There was a large collection of books, the former possessions of a very rich man, that were being sold on auction, and it was thought that some of them might have been extremely valuable to the study of archaeology and folklore and as well known occult sense. So this friend wanted to witness their work confidentially. That was 87, half a year after the crime on Rokkenjima. Correct. It was explained that those books had escaped a disaster at Rokkenjima. The owner of the island, Miss Ushirami, even had them put up for auction. This was apparently a high-class restaurant. A middle-aged man was sitting across from Aunt in a secluded and quiet seat. A Makusa could be seen by the entrance. He was probably keeping lookout for pursuers from the Sumadera family. The scholarly man across from him spoke politely, but with enthusiasm. Wow, I mean, I'm not trying to, talk crap about this drawing, but he kind of looks like an old sprite, not a new one. Let's, yes, it's the same exact drawing, except for just more of him is shown. Wow, guess he's not important enough to be drawn new. He didn't lay a finger on the food in front of him, so you could tell how excited he was as he spoke fervently. He was a professor at a certain college and particularly well known as an authority on Western folklore. However, among his life works, there was only a convenient exterior. His true life work was the study of occultism, Western magic, alchemy, and everything else to do with the occult, as well as demonology. In short, he was the person in the best position to understand the details of Kinzo's research. First, what I learned, maybe phrasing those books, was that Miss Ushirami Eva had absolutely no education in the study of folklore, and that the original owner of the books, Ushirami Kinzo, was certainly one of the top 5 authorities on demonology in Japan. April 1987, a major city antique shop obtained a large quantity of ancient documents that were thought to have high historical value. They were entrusted with them by Ushirami and Eva, who wanted them to be sold at auction. At the time, it was thought that Eva would have succeeded the Ushirami family and all the wealth to herself as the only survivor. However, at that point, not even a half a year had passed since the accident, and the others had not been missing long enough to be presumed dead, even under extraordinary circumstances. Because of that, Eva had supposedly been in a very tight spot financially, unable to even collect on her family's life insurance. It seems she tried to sell everything of value, and sorry about the guys, and even the books kept in place where she escaped harm and Kuadori and were used for this purpose. These old books, which had eventually be called the Ushirami Library, were later gathered from antique shops by authorities in the fields that they were to be appraised, and those authorities were astounded. At least speaking from the perspective of occultism, the impact of the discovery in the world was comparable to the discovery of Dead Sea Scrolls. This is because contained within the Ushirami Library were many extremely vital documents that had never been found. Though their existence had been known for more than a millennium, the many gems of the occult, such as those represented by alchemy, always stirred an intense fascination and dilettantes. I don't know. It was for that many magic books of great historical value currently not known to the public might be in the secret possession of extremely wealthy lovers of the occult. Items such as Leonardo da Vinci's notebooks, which are particularly popular among dilettantes, are said to be a prime example of this. It's said that approximately 5,000 pages of these notebooks currently exist, and over 10,000 have been lost. But some researchers believe that a large part of this lost portion may be monopolized by certain enthusiasts and members of the extremely rich. It is said that because of this, even now, dilettantes who can't help but seek to spare no expense to search around for quietly hoarded away in unannounced notebooks. There are probably no doubting that the Ushirami Kinzo was himself one of those dilettantes. No one knows what Kinzo went through to attain those, but there could be no mistake that he used a vast wealth freely, buying them off of other rich people with the same hobby as him. Those books, which were so valuable to that enthusiast, could never satisfy their desire to hoard them, and why were discovered in large amounts or large numbers at the end of the 20th century, and their release to the public had given the entire world a massive shock. Because of this case, the name Rokujima became known across the world. The world was also learning to shock that, in all likelihood, a large number of even more valuable undiscovered books were lost during the accident on Rokenshima. Because of this, the names of Rokenshima and the Ushirimiya Library will remain in our memories for all time. Our memories that are probably meant the cult neck of the woods with the same hobby as Kinzo. Because of that incident, the name of Rokenshima had taken on a vital meaning in the world of the occult. There certainly have been a lot of reports about the accident in Rokenshima itself, but not on an international level. However, this one part had spread across the world, taking the image of Rokenshima as a small island in the Izu archipelago and painting it over as a demonic island where riddles, suspicion, mystery, and occult met. In other words, the Tokizo's library was leaked to the public by Eva. Rokenshima had a familiar nameless island that no one could remember, and certainly not the island of a witch. However, when knowledge of the Ushirimiya library spread all over the planet, Rokenshima's image immediately took on the occult twist. What happened next was the discovery of that message bottle. That's what turned that island into a witch's island. A nameless island in Izu archipelago began to transition into an island that they're called the Island of Mysterious Witch Beatrice. You might say that locking into the Ushirimiya library or the message bottle, the Rokenshima witch legend had never been established. The message bottle, yes, a form of communication to an unspecified target by throwing an empty bottle with a letter sealed inside into the sea. It was once a famous way of sending an SOS on a deserted island, but because of the influence of a certain prominent foreign detective novel, it has also become known as a method of confessing the truth after one's own death, like a time-delayed will. The case of the Rokenshima message bottle was certainly one of the latter. This is the thing that everyone says a fisherman on nearby island picked up. Correct. We learned that a young fisherman on Shiki named Shima picked up a wine bottle with a letter in it. This young fisherman gets it just out of curiosity. Then, because Rokenshima had fallen under the world of nature due to the Ushirimiya library, he announced his discovery. It's very interesting that it was a fabrication made by the fisherman. Of course, we won't be able to deny that possibility. The scuffed paper in the wine bottle were signed by a member of the Ushirimiya family, a girl named Ushirimiya Mariah. However, after looking at the writing on her former belongings, it was confirmed that this message was different person's handwriting. Different person's handwriting? Correct. At the very least, I believe there could be no doubt that it was written by a person more skilled at writing and of a greater age than her. There's a very high likelihood that someone faked their name when they wrote it. Therefore, at that point in time, the contents of those scripted paper were thought to be very low credibility. However, later on, it was confirmed that a similar message bottle had been recovered by the nearby ocean on the day of the accident by the police in their search for lost articles, and this caused a sensation. It seems that due to the evasiveness surrounding area and the fact that the bottle had been sealed, the police decided that its likelihood of being a fabrication was low, and had been abandoned no earlier than a few days before the accident, and the handwriting for both matched. This caused the credibility of the unscripted paper discovered by the fisherman to rise. It seems magazines and the like have reported on the contents of that message repeatedly. But would you like an explanation? No, I know more about it, more or less. Many scraps of the paper have been slipped into both of the wine bottles in an extensive notebook written by someone calling themselves Ushirimiya Mariah, but who wasn't Mariah, and was told of the events starting the day before the accident up until the day of the accident in a diary-like way, and its contents have been the beginning of the witch's legend, serial murder incident, as well as the Golden Witch Beatrice's puzzle. The bizarre diary-style notebook described how the Ushirimiya family members nailed down on the island by the typhoon were caught up by a ceremony for the resurrection of a witch and killed one by one in inexplicable ways. In the end, the Golden Witch Beatrice survived, and everything was flung into the Golden Land. It was written almost as though it was a complete amount of the events on those days. Although it's depicted that the current situation on the island is at the time in great detail, and a former servant who used to work with the Ushirimiya family gave testimony that it had definitely been written by a human who knew the inside details of the island. So because of the combination of the occult boom for that strange fantasy novel in the Ushirimiya library, as well as the fact that the truth remains shrouded in darkness, the legend of the Rokenshima witch is born. Correct, more than 10 years have passed already since that case, and it's still the focus of interest for occult enthusiasts across the world. No, to the contrary, you could say that it's become increasingly defied as time passes. There are still many enthusiasts who try to secretly land on Rokenshima, even though it's prohibited. Could there be another message bottle that's still not been discovered? And on that day, what really happened on that island? There is still much to be discussed. As though he had finally remembered that he'd been going on and on for some time in the middle of a cup of water. His pottage was getting cold, but it seemed like the man's hunger had already been blown away. I'm pretty sure I had heard that the fisherman's scraps of paper and police scraps of paper had completely different contents. Correct. Due to that interest in Rokenshima mystery increased even further. Inside of both the bottles were diary-style notebooks on which was written an account from the day before the accident until the day of the accident. However, while both of their contents described the same 2-day period before, they were completely different. It was as though one of the truth was a lie, or perhaps both were lies. In any event, the beginnings and endings alone matched each other. In the beginning, the 18 people concluded their relatives were sealed up on the island by the typhoon, and in the ending, everyone dies. The Golden Witches survived, and everything is flung to the Golden Land. The contents of both message bottles wrote about the events of the day before the accident, the day of the accident, but the details are completely different. Both diaries outline a serial murder following the epitaph of the witch, but the order of sacrifices, the ways they died, and even the tale of the 2 days were different. However, in both, everyone died in the end, and which survived, making for the same general plot. Because the only survivors, Monsieur Sherman Eva has remained silent about what actually happened on the island, the events of that entire 2-day period are shrouded in darkness. These 2 diaries presented a full 2 theories to wipe away that darkness. Those 2 days could be explained with either of those 2 diaries. However, we don't know which is correct, or even if there's anything correct contained within them. Destroyed the English cat box. If it isn't denied, even a mixture of truth and fiction could be the truth. Through the media, you see scraps of paper had correspondence on Eva as well, but in the end, she never broke her silence. Who set the message bottles on? Why? Earlier in the special issue for the crime's 10th anniversary, a certain magazine took the topic up for the discussion in a grand manner, didn't they? The theory seems to be the one garnering the most support lately, but it's rather dull. What happened on the island that day, considering the questions of true trauma of the witch hunt? The witch hunt. Yes, the Rokujima witch hunt is the name of the group of enthusiasts who try to explain the truth of the crime from a cult perspective. Discussion of the mysteries that surround Rokujima from the Ishimiya Library to the mystery 2-day period of legend of the Golden Witch is flourishing even today's among enthusiasts. For the 10th anniversary, an international convention was held in New York. I also participated as a representative of Japan. I was able to intermingle with zealous overseas witch hunters in many ways, which is a very popular category overseas. Each span of their participants stretched from elementary schoolers at the bottom all the way to the famous cultural figures at the top. Even in Japan in recent years, there was a finally. You probably don't need any more explanation, but he's one of the most famous Rokujima witch hunters in Japan. Even though I didn't ask anything more, he kept continuing on excitedly all by himself. As I swirled the thin film on my potters with my spoon, I shook my shoulders and sighed. Looks like researching about the message bottle is really a waste of time. There's one thing I found, is that the notebook was supposedly written by Marioni-chan, was actually written by a different person faking her name, and that person wrote up an occult legend on their own, put it in the bottle so it was the truth, and threw it into the sea. I have a question. Why would they go through all the trouble of running so much in order to prepare a suspicious letter like that? With a message bottle, there's no guarantee that it ever passes into anyone else's hands. If the luck had been bad, it could have sunk in the ocean, never to be seen by anyone, and even if someone had picked it up, they might not care about it and thrown it away. Why would they entrust their confession to the truth of the sea with such an uncertain method? And why would they write up the multiple different tales? If there had been one message bottle claiming that story was the truth, it might be reckless but not impossible. However, because there were 2 that made both of them doubtful, if someone was plotting to make out those 2 days to be the work of a witch, they'd go on one step too far. And because there were 2, would suggest that an undiscovered third one, or possibly even more, might exist. And in other words, the 2 different contents make both of them harder and harder to swallow. Maybe each bottle is from a different game as possible. So there would probably be 4, maybe. There should be maybe 4. I don't know. But despite that, the contents are both matched in that tale of a witch and a tale. So that the main point the writer wanted to get across to us, it seems to me that the only possible explanation is that someone who wanted to give a rise to an illusion of a witch carried out this crime for their own enjoyment. However, the 17 people, rather than on Eva, lost their lives, and a vast wealth of maybe even 10 tons of gold that moved around secretly in the darkness. It is if you arrive for a confession occurring after all after bringing up this illusion of the witch. Even if we ignore the magazine's theories, it was very difficult that the message bottle was really a diary. After all, the amount of writing was massive. It's hard to imagine that someone actually caught up in the middle of a serial murder like that would be able to calmly write it down. In that case, it's probably more realistic that this diary was written slowly over a long period of time up until the day prior to the accident. In that case, would I mean that everything on Rokujima was a plan of the crime with everything prepared for a long stretch of time? The fact that Eva left this world without saying anything is infuriating. She definitely said it on her deathbed. She definitely said that the reason for not telling me the truth was because it was her best way of harassing me. Yeah, by now it's painfully obvious. Of all the things that Eva did to harass me, this was probably the latest and greatest. But to give it this way, it's pretty doubtful that Eva is the true culprit. Of course, it's not because the handwriting on the message bottle was different from Eva's or anything like that. It's because in the both tales they were discovered, and Eva was included among the victims. If the writer of that diary was the culprit, maybe Aunt Eva was also one of the targets to be killed. Maybe Aunt Eva was survived. Oh, I didn't mean to skip that. Sorry, guys. I wanted to read that. Anyway, actually, I think there's a way to do it, but I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know what button it is. The existence of the message bottle makes me suspect that the mastermind is far more profound and unknown person than her. I know there's a button that brings it all up. I could have read it, but I don't know what button that is. Okay, yeah, but anyway, I looked at the clock. I heard more than enough. It's time. As he continued to speak fervently, I suggested I wanted to bring this discussion to a close. He said he'd be aware that he got excited and talked too much, so he quickly accepted this. Thank you very much for today. I believe I heard something truly valuable. No, it was truly fun to be able to welcome a young lady as a new friend of the witch hunt. I have many precious materials I couldn't show you because of this change to a different venue from the usual. I will be glad to show you them at the next chance we get. Thank you, Professor. Could I ask for one more thing? Yes, what is it? Professor, why are you so interested in witches, and occultism and demonology? Well, that's somewhat embarrassing. A daydream I had in childhood. I could use a mystery power. I could take on even the biggest of bullies went on to become my life's work. After all, that primitive desire of admiring unknown powers is as universal today as it ever was in the past. Professor, if you could do it, what would you want to become a witch? You still dream of being able to use magic at will. But of course, even though at this age you can't understand logically that such a thing couldn't exist, I cannot forget my childlike dreams. It's just flying in the sky and turning scrap and iron into gold. If you would, please keep this a secret from my students. If I told you that I was a real witch, would you believe it? My pet theory from a few experiences with women is that they are all witches. And snorted at the old professor, who must have been an earnest scholar with barely any experience with women. Yeah, and one final question, Professor. Have you seen the original message bottle itself? I have indeed. In that case, do you know that handwriting well? Of course, I'm not a specialist in that area, but at least when it comes to the handwriting of the message bottle, I am proud to be the most knowledgeable in Japan. At that point, Anne shut a book on the desk with a thud, and I had never seen it before. He prided himself on thorough knowledge of the literature related to Rokkenshima, and he looked bewildered at this body that he hadn't seen before. Ignoring him, Anne suddenly flipped through the pages, opened to one of them, and showed him. On that page was a handwritten paragraph beginning with my beloved witch of Prince, and at the end was a signature in katakana that said Beatrice. This is, the instant he glanced at it, his face went pale. She knew the answer before asking, but Anne just aloud anyway. Does the handwriting in the paragraph in this page match the handwriting in the message bottle? Well, Mom, I think it was thinking something investigating more, but pardon me for asking about when in the world is this book? Where did you get it? The man stretched out his hand, but Anne pulled it back as though telling him not to touch it with his filthy hands. Thank you. Just that reaction is all I need. Thank you very much for today. Here's the reward I promised. As she took clutching my diary, Anne clearly tossed a wad of 10,000 yen notes wrapped in a string of paper onto the table. As Anne turned back to him and made him leave, the man raised his voice to clinging to her, but Anne didn't stop walking. I beg you, what in the world is that book? I don't need a reward. Show me that book. Both you and I are in the witch hunt, but it looks like we aren't pursuing it at the same level. You're entertaining yourself with outside of the cat box, and what I want to know about is inside the cat box. And this book is the key to opening it. It's too good for you. Well then. Goodbye, gentlemen. Have a nice day. But please wait. Sumadara-san. His voice didn't reach her. She had already joined up with Akamakusa and got in the car. Okay, so I'm going to take a few minute break here, guys. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, I'm back, guys. Did you find anything? Only at the very end. Oh, it's right. The one who wrote the message about Beatrice herself. Cool, so you would conclude that the witch actually exists. Who knows? Mind if I sleep? I'll bet that talkative professor gets lost in his own little world. In lectures, it makes me a lot of kids fall asleep. Please go ahead and take a rest. Still, that went really well. The guy believed I was Sumadara until the very end. The Sumadara family had set up a web beforehand around any people Ange might try to contact. They had offered a reward to anyone who could take a shipment of Ange into custody if she appeared. Ange had foreseen that and snatched it away. She had called herself Sumadara, and I could literally trick the man by saying her own subordinates would set up an ambush, so he didn't need to worry about it. She took him outside. So when the Sumadara family pursued ways to reach the professor's house, there was no longer anyone there. According to the family, a young man and a woman calling themselves Sumadara visited this morning, took the professor out with them, and still had not returned. There was a chance we were outmaneuvered. What a bad child, and Chan. I wonder if that craftiness is from Nissan's blood. To think she'd actually take on the name Sumadara after saying she'd hate to go by it so often. Oh, the professor should be returning soon. When he does, we must serve him some tea. Yes, understood. I wonder if she thinks she's leading me around by the nose, or a naughty child. Hee-ho. With a demonic look on her face, Kasumi violently stamped her heel. I'll teach you about my magic of origins. No, I taught you before, right? And you used it before. Did you forget? Well, you were also a witch apprentice with your name into the merged Sierra, weren't you? I was also included among the witches, wasn't I? I closed Mariah's diary and flopped down on a very high-class looking bed. I slept deeply for a long time in the car, so it took longer than usual for drowsiness to set in, and I read the diary as I waited. This was a super expensive hotel in the city, since it's often used by the rich and famous. They were very big on confidentiality. That made it very convenient for Anne to escape her pursuers. The idea renegades should spend their nights hiding in cheap hotels is a commonest way of thinking. To Anne, she possessed all the wealth of the Sherman family. Renegade life was comfortable indeed. Of course, even though he was a guard, Makusa was a man there for in a separate room. Anne used the bedroom with a suite, and Makusa lay on the sofa in the living room. According to Makusa, the sofa seat were more pleasant than his own beds had been recently. Poor guy. When I looked at the clock, I saw that it was almost 2 o'clock in the middle of the night, and I was still not getting sleepy. I sighed deeply. At that time, even though there was no wind, I had the feeling that Mariah Oni-chan's diary had fluttered. Then Oni-chan appeared. Her form was no longer the normal one I know. She was wearing that dress that Beatrice had given her after acknowledging her as a witch. If you don't get some sleep... Oops, sorry guys, my finger twitched on the enter button. I keep it hovered over it for fast tapping. Anyway, if I were a witch too, I'd be able to use magic, wouldn't I? Yeah, you can use it. I taught you, didn't I? You taught you how to use it, and you were able to use it in the past, weren't you? I remember I sort of wanted to use it. Are you starting to feel lonely? Not really. It's not like having a different pillow every night. It's that tough. The first step to magic could be loneliness or boredom, even small reasons like that. Even if it's just trying to kill time until you can fall asleep. Yeah, I'm glad you remembered about magic one more time. It's been quite a long time since I last used magic. At one point, with my only chance introduction, I touched the corner of it and opened the door a tiny bit, so I just don't remember that sensation. Right now, your magical powers decline significantly, and if you don't devote yourself to the basics, it'll be hard, okay? Sure, check on all directions, securing a quiet space. What about Amakusa-san? He's sleeping. After opening the door to the living room a crack, I could see the blanket caterpillar on the sofa roll over in his sleep. With your magical strength as weak as it is now, the anti-magic power is affecting you too much. Not just the sight of people, but the voices, sounds, even the presence of people will get in the way of your magic. Severe those completely, like how an ancient magician shut themselves up and add to layers to preserve their isolation. I remember the very existence of the humans blocks magic, therefore the very act of showing magic to people is the sign of a high-level witch. Obtaining a quiet space for yourself alone, that should be enough to prepare such a space to use magic. Next is the festival. Right now, supporting for your bike that at least the training wheels, no a chain. This is, of course, impossible. Anne rubbed her own head. She wore her hair accessories there with pink gems attached. They felt a little childish for Anne, but she never took them off, not even for a single day. Yeah, it really will be impossible for you now, Ange. If you practice every single day since then, you might have gained the ability to summon with that by now. If I were to start training now, how long would it take? It said that a year of magical training for a child is worth 10 years for a no person. You need a lot of determination. You mean like you showed me a Kinso, so I just like the piano and the violin, and getting a special education from a young age is huge, but when it comes to magic, as you are now, your power is weakened since the time you were first able to use magic, Ange. Don't overdo it and devote yourself to the basics. After stubbornly rubbing those things on my head one more time, I gave up, and I started fishing at this knapsack, looking for anything that might make a good vessel. Shouldn't this be a perfect vessel? It's been a long time, yes. But there's I think even you should be able to perform as summon as you are now, and they have no master now. It should be possible for you to become the new master, Ange. Among the things that looked like a good vessel, I took the one I thought might possess the strongest magical power and stood it on the side table near the bed with its clatter. It was a shitty-looking stick-shaped weapon with an occult design inscribed on it. It was one of the 76 of purgatory, which the witch uses to sacrifice others. Blah, blah. When the police had been searching for famous possessors, they collected a large amount of junk. After the investigation had finished, they had been politely returned to the Sherman E family. Finding the spin I had seen in the pictures of my star, I took it home with me. Originally, there were 76 of purgatory. How pitiful, and now she's the only one left. Only trying to smile, looking lonely. I pulled another book out of the knapsack. This was also old-fashioned. You could tell that was an occult book just by looking at it, but contents were plain. It was one of Mariah Oni-chan's yellow notebooks. This wasn't a diary. This was a grimoire. She had written as a witch with a 76 of Purgatory or Beatrice's furniture, created by her and employed only for her sake. But this Beatrice is also a witch of marriage to Sierra. They could be employed as by Mariah, a witch of the same alliance. For that reason, the method of summoning the 76 of Purgatory and how to handle them was written about in great detail in Mariah Onichan's grimoire, and as another person with their name registered in the land, so I was also permitted to employ them. Which of the 76 sisters? Their characteristics are written about well in my grimoire. The 7 sisters of Stakes really hate it when you get their names wrong. Remember their names well before summoning them. A package page shows a total of 76 of Purgatory. Describe the 7 sisters in great detail. Yes, I think I memorized almost the entire page once in the past. The more I read it, the more I started to remember. By the pictures and characteristics written on the grimoire, I could tell that the stick in my hand was Mammon's stake. In the past, I hadn't any stake, so I summoned them without any vessel. So this was the first time I'd clearly seen any of the 76, let alone Mammon. Mammon, the 5th sister, controlled the deadly sin of greed, an incredible kid. Greed also controls aspirations, the desire to improve oneself and strength to live. It definitely doesn't mean like bad things. She's rude, but she's a girl who tries really hard. I see. You could say that without desire, there's no reason to live. For a while, I heightened my concentration and digested the information that was written about Mammon. And when the summoner knows what the target is being summoned, the better. Knowledge is connected to magical power. I began to fill my head with knowledge about Mammon, raising a necessary amount of magical power for summoning. Grimoires could be a bit interesting. This might be a much better read than some lame novel. It really takes me back. For a grimoire is demanded not only that you understand the letters, but that you fill up the world of the space between the lines, giving birth to a world from the pictures and creating things in various ways. The power to give birth to something for someone who has that, such as a grimoire, a grimoire, should be more interesting than any book. I've always known that you'd be able to understand that. That should be enough knowledge of Mammon for now, yes. I remembered it more or less. I'll give it a try. Take care. In that case, worst happens. Here's my talisman. The Treaty of the Alliance will protect you. Right now, that memory is a bit of a quick trigger, and she may still bear a grudge. Be careful. Yes, I'll wear it. The 76 of Purgatory's furniture used to be made sacrifices for a ceremony were treated as beings inferior, even the weapons. But that was only when compared to the other demons. The human's furniture is to be feared. I fished his knapsack again and took out a bracelet charm with a scorpion medal that I'd gotten from Mario Onichan long ago and put it on my arm. In the past, I hadn't needed something like this, but I needed insurance. It's okay, that is already fitted with the requirement of magical defense. As long as you wear that, you'll definitely be fine. Mario Onichan's magic power, which had been specially put into this charm, had been enough to earn even Beatrice's admiration. While it may look like something cheap to the human who couldn't understand magic, its magical worth was incalculable. Come, arise, forgive the sin, one of the 76 of Purgatory, Mammon agreed. I focused my mind. I made the magic repelling toxin that filled my body zero. Imagine an untainted vast space. Doubts come and says all resist magic, make the resistance zero, and erase the burden on magical power. Inside my head was an image of a vast space. It was a nighttime world where I floated in the air. The neon stars over the ground sparkled. A world where the stars that should have covered the sky were wiped away by the light from below what covered the ground. In a world of a vast night sky with no obstructions, I imagined the wind blowing through at will. At that time, in the room where there shouldn't have been any wind, the free nighttime wind kicked up a cyclone. The long-forgotten sensation raced through my entire body. It was a unique feeling of exhaustion that comes from using magic. And my stake, which I held out in my hand, gradually began to make me feel a pale light. A twisty cyclone with the stake at the center. The hefty stake floated a bit into the air. Wonderful. Looks like the Gapping train had installed your talent. Come on, arise, forgive the sin. One of the 76 of Purgatory, Mammon agreed, and show yourself to me. As I raised my hands a bit by bit, lifted them higher than my head as though it was being attracted upwards. Mammon's stake once again floated up and high into the air and gradually began to shake. That shaking began to grow faster and burst. With a speed faster than I could follow, it flew around, violently rebounding off the walls of the room. The terrible son of it dancing around threatened to make me flinch. However, I must not lose my mental concentration. So which one is Mammon again? I know greed, but what she looked like. Then the stake, which had been flying around at an incredible speed, finally stopped and faced me. It was in the air just a few centimeters away from the forehead and held back by the defensive barrier created by the scorpion charm. Yeah, try to break the defensive barrier, eating into it with incredible power. But my only chance barrier wouldn't be broken so easily. It's no use. I can't break it. The sake mutters hatefully. It was probably safe to say that the scorpion charm saved me. Without that, my attempt at killing me until I got sleepy would have killed my time for all eternity. Meh, yeah. A man might say realized I was unable to gouge me and give up a good docile, changing his form at the stake of it into a human. In that same old outfit, I'd never been able to walk around outside, and although you could say it suits her in a demonic sort of way. Is that Ange-sama? But that magical power is pretty shabby. Are you really Ange-sama? It's been a long time, ma'am, and have you been well? And here I was convinced that furniture that's already fulfilled its function just gets left to rest away in the closet. So what kind of sideshow is this? You aren't going to say that you're my owner, are you? Yes, and just your master. Lady Mariah, how unsightly of me. Was that barrier just now yours? Yes, I thought that as she is now, Ange might just have forgotten finished off by you. I lent her a talisman. If Lady Mariah says Ange is my master, I cannot refuse. And someone please your orders. If it's me you need, are you going to perform a new ceremony with new sacrifices? Of course, it's only if you're willing to handle me yourself and get your hands dirty. That really isn't something I'm asking for anymore. All you have to do is talk with me like you used to. Yes, if that's what you desire, furniture is furniture because it is used. It's an honor just to be summoned, and Sama Mammon has a slightly complicated smile on her face. She accepted her new master because Mariah had told her to, but it looked like she hadn't forgotten over her discontent at working for Ange with her frail magical power. Perhaps she had some other reason for hating Ange, but for now it seemed that she couldn't disobey, even if she wasn't happy about it. So what should I do? I don't know. Just do something lively, like old times. Well, now this is liveliness you're talking about. It's probably from when we sisters were all together. It may be difficult by myself. Did you forget? That's right. The seven sisters were really lively when they got together. But with Ange's magical power now, I think summoning just Mammon is the best we can hope for. The stakes for the other six have been lost. My apologies, Lady Mariah, but maybe it could be possible to summon the seven sisters via my own stake. If I am to be used, I hope Ange-sama has at least that much power, right? Mammon grinned. Apparently she wanted me to summon the other sisters without a vessel. As she says she's unable to satisfy herself with being summoned alone, she's asking for the other sisters to be summoned as well. I get it, greedy as she was like back then, wasn't she? The furniture, the times during which they are used are bliss. No matter how badly they are exploited, being used as furniture's joy. On the contrary, regardless of how nice you are to them, you're not given the job is more painful than anything in their eyes. Mammon spoke in a challenging way, but she wanted me to summon the other sisters somehow and rescue them from the world of nothingness. If that's the case, all she's got to do is say so. These demonic people can always just say what they mean. And just don't overdo it. You'll need plenty of rehabilitation just from summoning Mammon. Only to rebuild if there's just one. Well, I'm just killing time anyway. Okay, Mammon, I've gone this far. I'll call as many as I can. Really? Not bad, and someone. Okay, quickly. Apparently, even though she'd asked Mammon, I didn't really expect Mammon to do this. She's hopping around, badgering Ange to summon another sister. Summoning Mammon alone consumed a considerable amount of physical and magical power. It'd probably be pretty tough to do 6 more. I'm all about the magical power of those who can summon sisters like this at will with their snap of fingers, and therefore reach the level they can be called witches. Mammon don't make Ange overdo it. She still isn't at her best. What? Ange someone says she summoned everyone. Actually, I'm gonna say I could as many as I could. I guess that's great for you. Don't overdo it, Ange. You should rest for today. You're tired enough. It's okay. I'm just killing time anyway. Let me get tired enough so I can just fall over asleep. This time there's no vessel. I'll just straighten the image from my knowledge of the grimoire and materialize, and was just that. I held my hands out to the air, playing in my head the sensation from when I summoned Mammon. I'm acquainted with all the seven sisters, right? I've got to remember that time long ago when I talked with them. Once again, the power of magic began to fill me up. I let off a faint yet distinct pale light from both of my hands. Ange-sama, hold on, good luck. Hey, Lady Mariah, and she's definitely going to summon everyone, right? The seven sisters will get to be reunited again, right? Yeah, definitely, but there's no guarantee that'll happen tonight. Ange-sama can do it, please, Ange-sama. I'll start with the younger sister, Asmode is the seventh sister, got it? I'll call them in order, starting from the youngest. A strand of hot sweat dripped down from my forehead. This really is going to be one hell of a burden to carry. The pale light in this space began to slowly form into the outline of a girl. Come on, rise, one of the 7 6 of purgatory, Asmodeus of lust. There is no vessel, however, as I held a strong conviction that she definitely did exist there as a core, where her began to crystallize. Her outline became distinct in the form of the youngest of the seven sisters, as Modus was finally created. Alright. As Modus of Lust right here. Where is this? Am I alive? Asmao, I'm so glad. Mama Nissan, where in the world is this? Who summoned me? And Sama did. And Sama said she'd revive all of us. No, I didn't. And Sama, thank you. Do you bells next, please? Beelzebub, the sixth sister. Beelzebub of Gluttony, come, arise. At this rate, I wonder how many I'll be able to summon. If I can't focus, this is probably it. The pale light made an outline and formed it to Beelzebub. Beelzebub of Gluttony right here. Bells, and something you're amazing, incredible. Mammon and Asmodeus jumped onto Beelzebub, celebrating their reunion. I'd summoned 3 people at once. My head was throbbing. But I summoned the next one without stopping for a break. Come, arise, one of the 7 sticks, Belphegor of Sloth. Belphegor of Sloth right here. She's one of my favorites right here. I think that would be needed again. Belphani, I'm hungry. I'm so glad to see you again. I think your sisters will be able to meet again. And so thank you so much. Keep it up, Adus, Satan, Sen, and Leviathni, and Lucini. Yeah, I get it, so please shut up, be so loud. Doing 4 people at the same time is pretty tough. And she'll not do it any more than this. She did a good job summoning even 4 of them after such a long time. Stop it, ma'am, and right now, Angel is being pressured with the burden of summoning us. Angel, I beg that you do not strain yourself too much. No way, Angel, I promise. You said she would all play together again. No, Right, Angel, you said everyone will meet again. You promised that we could meet again right away. That's right, I promised. I didn't promise anything about when, but I certainly did promise. So keep that promise. If you don't, I'll never forgive you for forgetting it until today, Angel. Got my rise. One of the 7 sticks of purgatory, Satan of wrath, and my mind's getting hazy. But I'll call, even though I've forgotten about those days, even though I never thought of that time. I think they were sad and lonely, because the short time I spent with them was fun without a doubt. Satan of wrath, right here. What the hell are you people doing? Don't you realize how much it's burning there? So much just let us have an idle chat. Satan, who apparently forgot the situation immediately after being summoned, cried out in a loud voice, telling our sisters off. The loud voice has made my consciousness hazy again. We are furniture who have been granted rest by Beatrice, and whose duty have been finished. Not only are you not honored at being given another chance to be of some use, but you're putting a burden on our new master who disgraced all furniture. Erase yourselves right away. It's just like Satan says, knees, I erase myself. You all erase yourselves too. In this moment, that's the best way for us to defuse Anishama. No way, not until everyone's summoned. Same here, I'm hungry. I hate to leave all again so soon after being reunited with you all. Don't be selfish. Come on, erase yourselves quickly. Come on, I'll disappear right now. Well, since he's bullying me, it's not fair if you always bully the youngest one. Yes, they really are, Lily. It doesn't bore me. That's enough. You've surpassed your limits for now, Ange. You're right. With 5 of them summoned and the messing around as they please, the load was far too heavy for me, which the meager magical power I had at that moment. This is it. As my cautiousness went hazy, I fell over onto the bed. Have beds always felt this soft? It seemed that the sisters are still squabbling together as much as they liked, for a way to kill time until drowsiness comes to get me. This is enough. Feeling something warm and nostalgic in the sisters' liveliness, I sank into the world of deep sleep. As I interested in my dream world, I felt Ryoni China Secretary waiting to receive me. You worked hard and good job. Uri, welcome back, Ange. Welcome back, huh? Then I should respond like this. I'm home. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to be ending the video here. I will see you guys later.